So we are back, and they'd like me to talk about James Robinson and Travis Etienne. Not sure if you're aware, but those are two running backs that were on a team that lost to the Washington Commanders in Week 1 in heartbreaking fashion. 22 points for the Jaguars is not enough to get past the 28 for your Washington Commanders. Let's talk about this backfield, and am I allowed to beat my chest? Can I beat my chest? Because I'm beating my chest.
Beat your chest.
Right, and I'm not just beating my chest because the Commanders beat the Jaguars. I'm beating my chest
James Robinson.
because of James Robinson. All through the preseason. Listen, I'm taking some L's. I took some L's as well. But this one, I get a big W for. James Robinson was on the preseason love list, and we talked about him throughout the preseason right here in the happy hour, saying, guys, it's going to be a committee, and the ADP is way out of whack for Travis Etienne and James Robinson. He was healthy. He got 12 touches. He played 49% of the offensive snaps, 69 yards from scrimmage, and more importantly, 2 touchdowns. He's the early down back. He's the red zone back. He's the base running back for the Jaguars, and Etienne is a pass catcher.
Yep. I will say with Etienne, it looks a lot different if he catches the walk-in touchdown.
1,000%.
And also, Trevor Lawrence missed him as well.
True.
Should have had 2 touchdowns, in which case you're not wearing the jersey today. Stephen D'Agostino is having you wear a Travis Etienne jersey instead for his birthday.
Stephen, if Steve tried that, Steve would be working on Unbuttoned with Chris Sims. But what I would say here to you, Jay Croucher, is that I think both guys will have value. I think the Jaguars' offense overall is going to be pretty good, and that Doug Peterson likes to use multiple running backs. By the way, James Robinson available in 40% of Yahoo leagues. If he is somehow still available in your leagues, he is the number 1 priority in waivers. We will get into that more tomorrow. DeAndre Swift has a monster game yesterday, but gets vultured by Jamal Williams twice at the goal line. How concerned are you, Jay Croucher?
Not concerned. And
thank you.
To your credit, one of the bets you liked yesterday, DeAndre Swift over 48.5 rushing yards. You really had to sweat that one out. He got it in one play, 50-yard run to cash that. And the thing is that he got vultured with the touchdowns. Still had a pretty good game. So I would not be worried at all about DeAndre Swift. Instead, I would be thinking about his upside potentially as a guy who get into that group with Eckler, Saquon we talked about, Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey. He has that kind of upside.
One of my bold predictions in the preseason, you go back and look at my 10 list at 10, was DeAndre Swift finishes as the number 1 running back in fantasy. He's got that kind of usage upside. He's got that kind of offensive line. It would have been nice if he'd gotten all 3 touchdowns here and they didn't vulture him with Jamal Williams. But the fact is that Jamal Williams might potentially have some standalone value in deeper leagues, getting 33% of the touches in this one. He certainly must be rostered if you have DeAndre Swift. I do think, because again, we saw like they like him around the goal line, and if anything were to happen to Swift, Williams would have a lot of value. The Eagles, what a disaster this is. I get it. Like, Sanders scored, our long national nightmare is over. Miles Sanders finally got in the end zone. But Boston Scott also scored. Kenneth Gainwell also scored. Jalen Hurts had a rushing touchdown. It's actually almost a mirror of the game last year against the Lions. Good luck picking which Eagles running back you want to start week to week to week. If I could get anything for any of these guys, I would sell immediately.
Definitely. And Miles Sanders, great stat line. Efficiency's not going to repeat. He had 7.4 yards per carry. And the concern is that he's not going to get all the red zone carries, so you're just playing a guessing game. He had 13 carries in a game that they were leading the whole way. He's not going to get workhorse back usage. He'll be a nice guy from time to time, but not someone that you can trust.
Miles Sanders is a name, and you can say, like, look, the lack of scoring was fluky, but look, he scored But this is a 3-headed committee, and they're not always going to be putting up 38 points. And so I would be nervous about Miles Sanders if I could get, again, that is somebody that I do think you could potentially sell high.
It's really it's a 4-headed committee.
It is a 4-headed committee. That is correct. Gainwell's out there in a decent amount of leagues, and like, he's an interesting guy. But let's move over to the Texans, and I think this is one everyone in the fantasy community got wrong. Like, luckily, I was not as high on Damien Pierce as other people were, but I had him at running back 26, I think, by the final draft weekend, and I had Rex Burkhead nowhere to be found. That might have been a mistake. As you see there on your screen, 71% of the offensive touches for Rex Burkhead here. Damien Pierce played just 29% of the offensive snaps. Burkhead 19-12, out touching Damien Pierce. 70 yards for scrimmage from Burkhead. Pierce just 39 yards. Damien Pierce in his NFL debut played 29% of the offensive snaps. And by the way, This is a game in which the Texans led for much of it.
Exactly. And the smoking gun with Pierce was always he never got big carry amounts in college. He never got more than 15 carries. So it wasn't just going to become a big workhorse straight away. At the same time, you would have liked a little bit more from him in this game. Okay, we're going to break. When we come back...
I will say, but we'll talk more again, waivers tomorrow, but Burkhead's going to be a thing.
Yeah, it's going to be a thing.
He's going to be a...
Maybe I'll wear my Rex Burkhead jersey tomorrow.
Whatever. 2.9 yards per carry, but 14 carries is 14 carries. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBC Sports and Rotoworld.com. Just want to thank you so much for watching what you just watched, or at least being too lazy to click out of it after the autoplay just kept it going. So either way, thank you so much for just letting it scroll by your screen. And now I'd like to ask you respectfully, please subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel for the latest NFL news, fantasy headlines from Rotoworld, and betting analysis from NBC Sports Edge.